Testing the audio 1 and 2. Audio test number 1, number 2.
Midwest Sprint Football League action on tap here this evening as we are live here at Midway University on their brand new turf field, game number 2 on this new facility on the season. Hello and welcome here into Midway University. Justin Kalen on the call for you tonight as Midway looking for their first win of the season, 0-3 on the year, and they will take on the Hawks of Quincy here tonight, who is 1-3 on the season. As let's go ahead and jump into our pregame as captain's out on the midfield marker, set for the coin toss. Also have a wedding on campus here tonight as those folks have traveled over here. So a little bit of a raucous crowd here tonight for this one as this Quincy Hawks team coming in off their first win of the season as they took care of Walsh 35-19 a week ago. Their running back, C.J. Jackson, 3 touchdowns in that game. Kyron Dene had 3 sacks in the win as well for Quincy as they got that first win. In the first 3 weeks, however, they fell 27-21 versus Bellarmine, 48-25 versus St. Mary of the Woods, and 33-6 they fell to Calumet. All 3 of those teams, by the way, a combined 9-1 on the season. As the happily married couple flipping our coin here tonight. And we are about 5 minutes away from kickoff here this evening. By the way, this Quincy team 2-0 all-time versus Midway. It was a 24-7 win a season ago at home, and then a 40-3 win in 2022. They have forced 8 turnovers in 2 games. As we are set for our national anthem, we'll step aside here, come back on the other side, continue our pregame, and get you set for your kickoff here tonight from Midway. National anthem wrapped up as we welcome you back here, Midway University, brand new turf field, game number 2 on the season here at this new home location, as it is the 0-3 Midway Eagles set to take on the 1-3 Quincy Hawks, as we started to look at Quincy prior to our national anthem. So let's go ahead and continue that. As I mentioned, the 8 forced turnovers in 2 games for this Quincy team against Midway. However, Quincy is 0-3 versus teams all time coming off of a bye week, so something has to give here in this one. We'll see how it all plays out, as it looks like Midway will receive the football first out there in their blue tops with the gray pants, blue helmets as well with the white numbering and lettering. Quincy in their white tops, gold pants and helmets with the gold numbering and lettering on those jerseys. Offensively, this is a team putting up 22 points per game. Defensively, allowing 31.8 are the Quincy Hawks. 150 passing yards a game, 101 rushing yards a game for this unit. Head coach Connor McLaughlin in his 3rd season, 10-9 as head coach of the Hawks, after going 4-3 in 2022 and 5-3 a season ago. As we are underway here, as this one's going to be hauled in right around the 15, and a decent return there beyond the 30, as I believe that was Chase Williams on the return that time for Midway. And now we'll see what their offense can do here, as we'll take a look at the Midway offensive starters. Christian Carter is their quarterback. Across the line from right to left, Hunter Lee, Ben Goodlock, Isaac Jones, Trayton Stargell, and Zachariah McGahan. Tight end, Damian Miller. Preston Moore, one of the wide receivers. Chase Williams, one of the other ones. Nick Brown, a running back, as the first play of the game is going to be an incomplete pass, as that was intended for number 4, Damian Miller-Durson. The final Midway offensive starter is going to be Charles Adams at the halfback position. 2nd and 10 upcoming now for the Eagles, as they send 3 to the right, 1 to the left. As throwing this one over the middle, and that's going to be intercepted. So the turnover streak continues. Now 9 turnovers for Midway in their 3rd game against Quincy here. So let's turn it right around and give you the Midway defensive starters. Defensive end, Gavin Lay, who has 16 tackles on the season. Peyton Brazier is their leader defensively, 17 tackles on the year, 6.5 of them going for a loss. Jamarian Taylor, a defensive tackle. Adrian Dore, a defensive end. Brady Bond, Luke Guerrero, Giovanni Southall, the linebackers. Cordavian Hines, one of the cornerbacks, as the first down play here is going to go up the right sideline. Now cuts it back inside up to the 15-yard line. And the Quincy Hawks pick up the first down of the game. The other defensive starters for Midway tonight, Jalen Beard is that other cornerback to go along with Cordavian Hines. Aiden Bowens is one of the safeties to go along with Josiah Sander in that safety position as well, as the Hawks now inside the 20-yard line looking for that first score of the game. But prior to that, we are going to get a flag fly out, and that's going to be a false start called against Quincy. By the way, Midway coming into this one off of a bye week a week ago, and a bye week that seemed very much needed after an 0-3 start to the season. Fell 41-19 at St. Mary the Woods in week 1. 14-0 at Oakland City in week 2 as the run up the gut here doesn't produce much. And 49-15 in their game 2 weeks ago here at Bellarmine. The debut of this beautiful brand new turf field. That was a 9-9 game at halftime against Bellarmine. Actually a 15-15 game deep into the third quarter before Bellarmine able to run off 34 unanswered to win that thing 49-15. As now another run right up the middle here by the Hawks is going to pick up about 4 yards on the carry. By the way, let's take a look at their offensive starters. Their line from left to right, Nate Engler, Luke Gertkin, Landon Lopez, Anthony Rivas, and Hector Gastelum. Their quarterback, Deuce Alloward, first here tonight. As Jensen Laughlin comes out to try to knock through the extra point. Laughlin lines it up. As the snap's a good one, but a flag does fly out prior to the kick. And a few technical difficulties here, so if you missed it, Deuce Alloway, the quarterback for the Quincy Hawks, scampering 15 yards along the right side of the field, gets the first touchdown of the game for Quincy as they lead 6-0. And now we're just awaiting the extra point. But prior to that, Quincy penalized, so they're going to have to back up 5 yards. Their second penalty already here in this first quarter. As Laughlin's kick is up, and it is through. So make it a 7-0 lead now for Quincy, and Midway will trot out for their first offensive possession here. Let's continue to take a look at this Midway team. It was a great performance against Bellarmine by the freshman running back Quintel Thomas a week ago as he ran for a single-game program record 146 yards in the loss, had a 54-yard rushing touchdown in that game. As I mentioned, 9-9 that game at half, 15-15 late in the third before Bellarmine runs away with that one. So we'll see if Midway can punch back here in the early going of this one. They are 1-1 coming off of bye weeks in their program history. It was a 27-19 loss to Fontbonne in 2022 and a 20-12 win versus Oakland City a year ago coming off of their bye week. Elbert Kern in his first season as head coach of the Midway Eagles, looking for that elusive first win. As Laughlin with the ball on the tee, the left-footed kicker approaches, and it's a good one. Stand corrected, actually the second Midway possession of the game as they threw an interception on the second play of their first drive, and a decent return here by the Midway player Chase Williams, the freshman wide receiver. And now the Eagles trot out for their second drive of the game. As Christian Carter makes his way back out there. Carter, a 5'11 freshman, as he'll hand this one off in the backfield, and nothing doing that time as he's going to be stopped. That was Quintel Thomas, the freshman, on the carry that time. And he's going to lose yardage. Looks like close to 7. The loss on that carry for Thomas. Brings up 2nd and 17 here. Eagles back up to the line. Carter awaits the snap. As once again, he'll hand this one on. No, he fakes it to Thomas and takes it himself. And a good gain there as he scampers up that left sideline. And gets knocked out of bounds right around the 40, couple yards shy of the first down marker. And not ideal as he stays down on the field on that far sideline. Did not see him pop up. I thought Preston Moore actually took the carry as he was headed over to the midway sideline, but does indeed appear that's Christian Carter over there. It'll be a 3rd and 2 following this injury timeout. Hopefully he's all right and can get back in the game as he does get up under his own power and now will slowly begin the journey back over to this midway sideline. It's a nice ovation from the crowd below us. A great crowd here tonight at Midway on a beautiful night for some football. As Carter is slowly making his way over to the midway sideline, being aided by Keegan Hill. 70 degrees right now here at Midway University. And it's going to be Tanner Clark now coming in at quarterback, the 6'2 sophomore. And he's faced with a 3rd and 2 here for the Eagles. Clark's got it now. He'll hand this one off. Quintel Thomas trying to trudge forward, but he's going to be, well, now he gets a good push from behind, and we'll see where they spot this football. That's going to be very close to a first down. Looked like the play was dead right around the 40-yard line, but got some help from behind, and the officials are going to say move the chains. Well done there by Quintel Thomas, keeping those legs churning. That'll set up now 1st and 10. Midway team putting up just 11.3 points per game, defensively allowing just under 35. 108 passing yards a game, 61 rushing yards a game. Mentioned Peyton Brazier, 17 tackles, 6.5 of them for a loss this season. Got Luke Guerrero and Gavin Lay both with 16 tackles for the Eagles. Offensively looking for a groove here to start week number 5. Midwest Sprint Football League action. As Clark takes the snap, he'll look to throw it over the middle and has his man complete. What a catch there by Chase Williams. And Midway with a fresh set of downs now inside of Quincy territory. Beautiful pitch and catch there from Tanner Clark to Chase Williams. As they set the football down at the 31-yard line. Christian Carter is walking around on that Midway sideline, just put his helmet back on. So we'd expect him to see him back out there as Tanner Clark going to lob one towards the end zone. And very close to a good pitch and catch once more. Preston Moore was the intended target that time. Fortunately for the Eagles, it falls harmlessly to the turf, and that'll bring up 2nd and 10. As it remains Tanner Clark in the game. Christian Carter does look like he's walking normally down on that midway sideline as the handoff here to the right side and up to the 15-yard line. Good little gain there on 2nd and 10. So he'll pick up about 6 on the carry that time. So that'll set up a 3rd and 4 now. Clark's got the snap, looking to throw it towards the end zone. And I thought he threw that too far, but a heck of an effort there by the receiver. That was Preston Moore, the intended target once more. Looked like that was going to be well out of his range, but he turned on the jets and dove for it and did get a fingertip on it. Thought he was going to haul that in at one point, but that brings up 4th and 4. Midway at the 25-yard line, not the 15. So they're going to opt to go for it here. If they're on the 15, maybe it's a different call as the Tanner Clark throw is going to be behind the receiver. And that's going to be a turnover on downs. He was looking for Mike Anderson, the running back coming out of the backfield. Throws it behind him, and Quincy will take back over. We played just over 6 minutes here in this first quarter of play. Now the officials going to add some more time up on that clock as it everyone 8:40. It's got 8:24 up there right now. There is the whistle. Hawks coming back up to the line. Deuce Alloway in shotgun, awaits the snap. Looking to throw this one over the middle and well over the head of his intended target. Like Mike Anderson was going to have a chance to get back there and pick that thing off, but it was even well over his head. Brings up 2nd and 10 now for the Hawks. Alloway sends one in motion out of the backfield. Now looks to throw again. He's got his man. And that's going to be a very short incompletion, maybe 3 yards on the catch that time, as he was met by a host of Midway Eagles. Looked like Jamorian Taylor, one of the first one to get to him. That brings up 3rd and 7 now as Quincy coming back to the line. 2 wide receivers here on the near side, one on the far side. Alloway's got it. He'll hand this one off, and a great job defensively there. As coming up to make the tackle was Luke Guerrero. Stops him for a minimal gain, and that'll bring up 4th down, and Quincy will have to punt this thing away. Going back deep for the Eagles is Chase Williams. Mentioned he was a freshman out of Independence, Kentucky. As Jensen Laughlin, the sophomore for Quincy, set to boot this thing away. Snap a little low, but he corrals it no problem, and the punt's a good one. As that bounces in front of Chase Williams, and he can't get away from the defense that time as he's going to be knocked down right around the 28-yard line. Make it the 29, and that is where Midway will begin their next possession. Let's see who comes out for quarterback here for Midway. As it will be Tanner Clark remaining in the game as he's looking to throw over the middle and has his man. Going to be well short of a first down, but Damian Miller-Durson settles in behind the defense and snags that one for a 6-yard gain. By the way, keep your eye on Chase Williams here in this one tonight. Over 200 yards from scrimmage in the first 2 weeks. A couple of touchdowns as well. Very productive start to his Midway career here for the freshman. As Clark will throw this one to the left, and that's going to land just short of his intended receiver. He's looking for Preston Moore there. We've got just over 6 minutes left here in this first quarter of play. If you joined us late, Christian Carter, the normal starting quarterback for Midway, a little banged up on the last Midway possession. So Tanner Clark has come in, the sophomore, and taken over the quarterback role, and he's done a nice job thus far as here he is rolling out to his left and had his receiver Chase Williams out there, but just over his head. And that'll bring up 4th down, and Midway will punt this thing away. Slow going offensively for Midway. As Preston Moore will go back to the 20-yard line, set to kick this thing away. Couple of guys back deep for Quincy. As the Moore punt, a good one, end over end. And now trying to get to the outside portion of the field, and not so fast, as Lucas Wilder had other ideas, drug him down. And that's going to be a net return of about 3 yards for Quincy. And they'll start this next drive on the 34-yard line. The Hawks offense coming back out. As I mentioned, 22 points per game this season. They've got 7 up on the board right now. Looks like our official's going to have a discussion here before they allow this play to continue. Quincy was ready. They faked like they were going up to the line twice before. Guess they were told, don't head up yet, and that's because we had a penalty, and they were trying to sort that out. Didn't even see a penalty flag out there as they're going to move this football way back. Now inside the 20-yard line at the 19. Already the 3rd time tonight Quincy's been penalized. That's Alloway. Sends one man in motion out of the backfield, awaits for the snap. Now he's got it. He'll throw it to his right, and that's going to be complete. And now streaking down the right side, now cuts back to the middle, and a good-looking gain there on the great play. And Quincy with the first down. Second time in this game, they've crossed the first down marker. So they get it up to the 40-yard line now. Now Hawks coming back to the line. All the way. He's got it once again, going to look to throw. That ball's tipped and somehow still gets caught and will go for a first down. Now a whole lot more as he refuses to go down. Now he'll be tackled down around the 29-yard line. And that's just bad luck there for the Eagles as that ball was tipped at the line and lands right in the hands of the receiver. As it was Gavin Lay coming up to make the stop for the Eagles. Potentially a touchdown saving tackle there by Lay. As that'll give the Hawks a 1st and 10, now back inside Midway territory. As now back up to the line quickly as they realize they've only got 3 on the play clock, and they just do get the play off as it's going to be a handoff out of the backfield. And nothing doing there as Midway comes up for the stop. C.J. Jackson on the carry that time. Stand corrected. I think that was actually Traven Hegler Wright that got the carry. As we're under 4 to play here in this first quarter. All the way with Hegler Wright in motion, and another flag comes out pre-snap. And that's going to be another false start called against Quincy. 4th time here in this first period that they've been penalized. So Jackson, or Tregler Wright rather, with a 2-yard carry. Now after the penalty, that's going to set up 2nd and 13. All the way looking to throw here, faces some pressure as we're going to get a flag thrown out as this one tossed towards the end zone and still working towards that pylon. And they're going to say he is just short, but we've got to sort out this flag situation. Thrown likely in the area of holding as Gavin Lay was taken to the ground in the backfield. And still no signal yet. Now here he comes to make the call. And it will indeed be a hold against Quincy. So how about that? 5 penalties already against the Hawks. Midway was still a goose egg in that category. As now the officials go into the Quincy huddle and say something as they're going to take this football all the way back to the 42-yard line. So that sets up an even longer 2nd down now, 2nd and 23 up on the scoreboard. As all the way, faced with a 2nd and long, will look to throw. Now he tries to use his legs as he's being chased, and he will be knocked to the turf. As that was Deshaun Bibbs chasing him down. As they do pick up a good chunky yardage back. It looks like it's a 3rd and about 13 now. Give him 10 on that last carry for the Quincy quarterback. Midway remains in their 4-3. As all the way looking to throw, looking over the middle. Steps up in the pocket, and he's going to take off with it again as he gets up to the 22-yard line, but he's going to be well shy of the first down marker, about 3 yards shy, so that'll set up a 4th and 3 upcoming. So back-to-back 10-yard runs by the Quincy quarterback has taken it from 2nd and 23 to 4th and 3 here. Kind of in no man's land. They're going to opt to keep the offense out on the field. quickly they approach the line. Down to 5 on the play clock. Now Holloway's got it. Fakes the hand. No, he gives it to C.J. Jackson, who's going to be very close to that first down marker. I think they're marking him short, but a penalty flag does fly out at the end of that play. Where they have it marked now, he's definitely short. But now got to sort out the penalty situation. As it's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct called against Quincy, so 6th penalty here in this first quarter already, and they will give the football back to Midway here on the turnover on downs. About that, the Midway defense standing tall. Getting the football back for their offense here. We're down to 1:45 left in this first quarter of action. Back out comes the Eagles offense, and Christian Carter back in the game at quarterback. So a nice job by Tanner Clark filling in for a couple possessions, but Carter back out there. As he's got a man in motion, that's Williams, and he will hand it to the running back in the backfield, and nothing doing there as Quintel Thomas gets the carry. And he's going to lose a couple yards on that one. Ball now rests on the 33-yard line. Got to get up to the 45 for a first down, so 2nd and 12 upcoming here. As now Carter will throw this one, was looking for Williams, and lands right at the feet of Chase Williams, and he couldn't go down and get that one, so brings up a long 3rd down now, 3rd and 12. Here come the Eagles, back up to the line. 3 receivers off to the left, 1 to the right here. Carter with the football, looking to his left. Now he'll step up in the pocket. Nearly lost his footing, but he's able to get up to close to the 40-yard line. As they're going to mark him down, looks like at the 37. But he's going to be 8 yards shy of the first down, so that'll bring up 4th and 8, and the Midway Eagles will punt it away once more. As Preston Moore will stay out there and move from wide receiver back to punter here. First one tonight was a good one. Turned out to be a great one as Quincy picked up the penalty on the return. Knocked him back inside the 20, and here's another really good punt, as that's going to be hauled in at the 30, and that is where the Hawks will take over for their next possession. With 24 seconds left here in this first quarter. Nothing up on our scoreboard. As Quincy was able to take advantage of a Midway interception on the 2nd play of the game. Turned that into a rushing touchdown from their quarterback, Deuce Alloway. Alloway's been running everywhere here in this first quarter. Now here come the Hawks back up to the line. And looks like it was another penalty while they were accepting that punt. 7 penalties here in this first quarter. If you're head coach McLaughlin over on that Quincy sideline, got to get those numbers down. As Holloway this time will hand it off to Jackson, who picks up about 2 yards on the carry. Potentially the final play here of this first quarter. We'll see if Quincy decides to run another one or not, as we're now inside of 10 seconds. And now down to 5, and they will indeed just let the clock run out. So 7-0. Quincy leading after one quarter, and an entertaining first quarter of action. We'll see if Midway can respond in the second quarter. Stick with us. We'll step aside for a break here. We've got more Sprint football coming up here from Midway University. Quarter number 2 set to begin here from Midway University. Quincy 7, Midway 0 after one quarter of play. An entertaining quarter. Just one mistake for Midway in that first quarter of play, and it came via an interception that directly set up a Quincy score. Other than that, though, the Midway defense has been standing tall as Quincy faced with a 2nd and 7 here, as that one's going to be complete and will go for a first down. 4 first downs now in the game for Quincy. However, did have 7 penalties in that first quarter, so luckily to have a lead here as we get into quarter number 2. Here they are with a fresh set of downs. Ball nestled at the 37-yard line. As Allaway waits for the snap. He's got it now. Looks to his left. He'll throw it to his left and complete. And a gang tackle over on that far sideline by Midway, as it looked like Jalen Beard the first one to get to him. I believe that was Brady Bond also in on the tackle. Ball now at the 41 as they give him a gain of 4 on the reception that time. So here they go with 2nd and 6 upcoming. All the way on the handoff and right up the gut, up to the 40-yard line before being tackled down. So inside the 40 now. As that's going to be another Quincy first down. I believe that was Jalen Beard on the tackle again. Back-to-back defensive efforts for him. Now 1st and 10, rush off to the left side. Doesn't really pick up much there for the Hawks. That might have been Luke Guerrero coming up with the tackle, and Guerrero gets up and immediately waves over to the Midway sideline as one of his teammates remains down on the turf over there, but he quickly pops up into a sitting position. And now he's actually going to lay back down, and both teams will head over to their sidelines. And hopefully everything's all good over there, as we've got 12:59 left here in this first half of play. That's a big one, as that was Jalen Beard, the injured Midway Eagle, but he looks fine as he's jogging now to the Eagle sideline. As Beard looks like he's going to be okay. Now 2nd and 10 upcoming. Actually, second. Yeah, about 10. As Holloway sends one receiver in motion, waits for the snap. He's got it now, throwing over the middle. And he's got his running back, but his running back has no room to work. That's a great job coming up to make the tackle once again was Luke Guerrero. Guerrero coming out of that linebacker position and has done a nice job so far tonight. That sets up 3rd down now, 3rd and 8 upcoming. Once more, a receiver in motion from right to left. As Holloway faces some pressure, fires one deep downfield and about 5 yards over the head of his nearest receiver. And that'll bring up 4th down now. And let's see what Quincy decides to do here as they've got the ball on the 36-yard line as it stands now. But faced with a 4th and 8 here. Holloway sends 2 to each side as they're going to opt to go for it. Looking to his right. Now he throws it to the right, and that is going to be well out of range of his receiver. And the Hawks wanted a flag thrown down, but no such luck as Midway will take back over after yet another defensive stop. We'll take over with 12:05 left on this first half clock, trailing by 7. See if they can get something working offensively. Has bended at the knee, waiting for the snap. Now he's got it. That's Tanner Clark actually back in the game as he steps up in the pocket, and he's going to be wrangled down for a loss. Loses about 2. That time as his pocket collapsed, he had to step up and could not escape the pressure before being thrown down. And that'll bring up 2nd and 12 now. Surprised. Coach Kern going away from Christian Carter and throwing Tanner Clark back in there, although Tanner had a good couple of drives, and now Quintel Thomas with a good-looking rush picks up the 1st down and a whole lot more as Midway back into Quincy territory as they mark him down right around the 40-yard line. Mentioned Quintel Thomas in our pregame here tonight. Program record for a single game, 146 yards in that loss 2 weeks ago against Bellarmine. Now here we go on 1st and 10. Scoreboard says 4th and 10, but not the case. As Clark hands this one off, Quintel Thomas. He's got some room, and he will get to the house from 40 yards out. So he picks up right where he left off against Bellarmine. And barring an extra point, this game is going to be tied. No flags down on the field, so it'll stand. And how about that burst of speed for the freshman? Busting right through that offensive line, saw a hole and hit it perfectly, and he was not going to be caught at any point during that run. He gets a pat on the helmet from one of the Eagle coaching staff members. And now extra point. Coming up for Midway as Lucas Wilder out there to try to knock it through. Charles Adams holding the snap. As Preston Moore goes over to Wilder, says something. Wilder waiting to take the extra point here. As there's the referee whistle. Now we're set to go. See if Midway can get this thing knotted up. Snap and hold are good. Wilder's kick is up, and it is good as well, as back even once more, 7-7 this time, as we are down to 11 minutes, just over 11 minutes left here in this first half of play. Great response there by Midway, tying this thing up. And they've been pretty solid in first halves this season. It's been the second half that has caused them the issues in their 3 losses, being outscored 82-8 in the 3 second halves this season, including 40-6 2 weeks ago against Bellarmine. As kicking unit making their way out there for Midway. Wilder will set to boot this thing away. Tanner Clark was out there for Midway. Now he comes over to the sideline. Guess Midway penalized at some point, as they're going to make them kick this thing off from the 20. So that's their first penalty of the game. Not sure where that happened. I missed it. As Wilder has the ball down on the tee. Wilder sends it as deep as he can, which is the 30-yard line. Now a good shot at a return here for Quincy, and a lot of room. Wilder has a chance for the stop now inside the 15 and thrown out of bounds right around the 12-yard line. And just like that, Quincy set up in good field position to try to claw back on top. And now we've got an injured Hawk player right around the 50-yard line. So they'll tend to him as Quincy will head over to their sideline. The Midway defenders remaining out on the field. As now the Quincy offense right around the 40 will all drop to a knee, and here come the Eagles over to their sideline. Number of injured players here in this game that we've had to stop play for to check on. This is the first time that it's been a Quincy player. The last 2 occasions were Eagles. And didn't see what happened on the play as they get him to his feet now. And Hobbled going to head over to that Quincy sideline. However, is going under his own power, so I always like seeing that. See the people in the distance on your camera frame sitting up on the hill. Good number of people sitting up there in that far left portion of the stadium. As the Hawks back out on the field now, faced with a 1st and 10, ball at the 12-yard line with 10:57 to play here in this first half. As Holloway will hand this one off for Jackson. And Jackson able to get forward for a gain of about 2 that time. It's 2nd and 8 here. right on the 10-yard line. As Jackson remains in the game at running back. Looks like Kieran Dene in there as well, and now a throw right to the middle of the field, and Midway jumps on it and thinks they have the takeover, but that was definitely a pass. I think the officiating crew is going to rule that, unless it slipped out of his hands. Oh, and they are going to say Midway football. Wow. Now Coach McLaughlin wants a word. And I'm kind of with him here. I thought that was a pass right to the middle of the field, but must have ruled that it slipped out of his hands, and the Eagles defense gets the football back for their offense. First turnover of the game for Quincy. And the Eagles will take back over at the 6-yard line, so a lot of work to do here with 10 minutes left in the first half. As Tanner Clark remains the quarterback in the game, but prior to the play, we are going to get a Midway timeout called. So both teams will head over to their sidelines. By the way, a couple of other games going on inside the Midwest Sprint Football League here tonight, as you've got St. Mary of the Woods 3-0. They are at Bellarmine, who is 3-1. That should be a good ball game. And you've got Calumet at 3-0. They're at Oakland City tonight, who is 1-2. As Walsh is the team on bye this week, as there's 7 teams in the Midwest Sprint Football League, so every week there's somebody with a bye. Eagles coming off theirs a week ago and looking pretty sharp here to begin this one. So we're all knotted up at 7, and here comes the offense back out on the field. Tanner Clark, their backup quarterback, will flip this one off to Quintel Thomas, who tries to find some room on that right side, maybe gains a yard on the carry. Maybe even gets a couple. That'll set up second down, as they do indeed give him a gain of 1 on that first down carry. Preston Moore makes his way back onto the field off that Midway sideline. Keegan Hill will head off. As Clark awaits, he'll look to throw this one. Now he kind of scrambles out of there, now trying to get past one defender, and he's going to be wrangled down from behind right around the 12-yard line. Give him 4 yards on the carry, as that'll set up a manageable third down now. 3rd and about 5 here. We're under 9 to play in the half. Clark looking towards that Eagles sideline, now bended at the knee, awaiting the snap. As he's got it, he'll throw it down the left sideline, and Preston Moore was the intended target, but just out of the reach of his outstretched hands, and we do have a couple flags come in late. And by all indications, looks like these are going to be against Midway. No signal yet. And unsportsmanlike conduct is the call against Midway, so back them up, as that'll bring up 4th down now. And they're going to have to punt this thing away. Just 2 penalties thus far in this first half called against Midway, so they've done a nice job playing clean football. Also turned it over on their first drive. Haven't had another yet. As Moore from the back of the end zone. Low line drive. As that is going to be touched by the Quincy defender. Now Eagles jumping on top of it. Just waiting for the signal, and it will be Eagles football. And that's what they needed after this short punt by Preston Moore. Maybe an ill-advised decision there to go for it by the Quincy player. So it hits him right in the chest and skirts away. If you caught the South Carolina-Alabama game earlier today, very similar looking play there as the onside kick. South Carolina was able to recover late in that game. Now the Eagles offense back out on the field. It's like it never even happened. As Clark hits Quintel Thomas on the right side, he's able to get forward for a gain of about 4. Sets up a 2nd and 6 now as we've got just over 8 minutes left here in this first half. Quickly back up to the line come the Eagles. By the way, Midway this season has been tied or held the lead at every halftime thus far. Somewhat surprising looking at the 0-3 record, but I've touched on the second halves for them this season. To go down and get a score here, it looks like that's going to be the case again here tonight. At first, they're faced with a 3rd down. 3rd and about 3 now. As Clark's got it, he's going to pitch this one for Thomas. Looking for a hole. He's got one. Beyond the 50. Now dragging defenders up to the 30. And he is keeping those legs churning up to the 26-yard line. And what a run there by Thomas as it's another Midway 1st down. But there is a flag down on the play, and it's going to be a hold against Midway. That one stood. Quintel Thomas was going to be flirting with his record from last week. See if he can't go over that number if that one stands up. As now they'll walk it back, and that's going to make it an extremely long 3rd down now. Should be 3rd and about 13 upcoming. So we're down to 7 minutes left in this half. Clark, he's got it. Throwing over the middle and just overshoots his man, but Midway lucky that football wasn't picked off as it hit Aaron Kennerly right in the chest, and he couldn't quite reel it in, but either way it's going to bring up a long 4th down, so the Eagles will have to punt it away with 6:46 left here in the first half. As Preston Moore now back at the 20-yard line, set to kick this one away. And this one much better than the last one, as that's going to bounce around the 35-yard line. And Karam's out of bounds right around the 32. And that is where the Hawks will take over for their next possession as we continue to inch closer to halftime here. The Hawks back up to the line now. See if they can put a drive together to potentially snag a lead prior to the halftime. By the way, Midway did receive the opening kickoff, so it will be Quincy football to begin the second half of play as the rush down the left side here goes for a gain of about 9. So I believe that was Brazier coming up, first one to hit him. Team's leading tackler coming into this game. That makes it a 2nd and 1 now as they've got the ball on the 41-yard line. One receiver to each side of the formation. As Allaway hands this one off. And he's going to be able to pick up the first down, but he is met by a host of Eagles that time. I believe that was Luke Guerrero on the tackle again. Entertaining first half here tonight from the turf field, Midway University. Just the 2nd contest that they've played here on this newly renovated and built field. We're down to 5 minutes left in the half. 1st and 10 upcoming. Ball on the 44. All the way. He is going to be swallowed. No, I thought he kept that one. His running back. Either way, both of them were swallowed up for a loss. There was 3 or 4 Eagles on both options that time. As that looked like Byron Wallace coming up to make the stop. Now 2nd and 12 upcoming here. Allaway will throw. Has his man trying to cut back to the outside portion of the field, but not so fast. Credit that time goes to Mike Anderson, making him change directions, cut back inside, and allowed his teammates enough times to come to his rescue. So that'll bring up 3rd down now, 3rd and 5. Midway contingency below us starts picking up the noise level. Thanks to some prompting from the scoreboard, now it's going to be a handoff, C.J. Jackson, and he is able to get a first down. A flag does fly down, as they're going to, I guess, rule that he stepped out of bounds, but we'll have to see what the flag situation's all about. About that speed from Jackson, just busted down that left sideline. And it's going to be a chop block called against Quincy, so the first down will not stand, as the Hawks have been penalized for the 8th time here in this first half. Down to 3:35 left here in the half. We'll see where they take this thing back to. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty, as they're going to take it all the way back to the 43, so 3rd and 11 upcoming now. As Allaway going to pitch this off to his running back, and nothing doing there. Great job again by the Midway defenders. Marion Taylor, first one to get to him, and he had some help from a couple of his other buddies. Like Byron Wallace, one of the guys to be in on that tackle, as was Trenton Leach. As that'll set up now a long 4th down, and Quincy likely will punt this thing away. As Chase Williams heading back to receive the punt. Jensen Laughlin back out there. But before the punt, another penalty has to be assessed for Quincy, and it's going to be another 15-yarder. 9 penalties here in this first half now. That makes it 4th and about 26, or as the PA guy says, 4th down and forever. Laughlin waits for the snap. Little low, but he does go down to get it. However, the punt is short as it's going to bounce down around the 45 and now will be downed at the 45. And that is where Midway will take over with 3:05 to play here in this first half. Good field position here to try to go down and get some more points on the board prior to the halftime break. Back out comes their offense. Tanner Clark remains in the game at quarterback. Starting quarterback Christian Carter a little banged up in the first quarter, as this one's going to be a toss to Williams, who gets it beyond the first down marker. Gain of about 12 here by the freshman Chase Williams. And Midway back into Quincy territory. As quickly they're back up to the line. Just under 3 minutes left in the half. 3 receivers off to the far side of the formation. Clark going to throw this one. He's got Preston Moore, who's going towards the end zone, and he's going to be tackled down right around the 3, make it the 5-yard line. And they have tried that play 3 or 4 times here tonight. That is the first connection. And Midway with a 1st and goal now from the 5-yard line. Getting closer and closer to having yet another halftime lead. And prior to the play, we are going to get a timeout called. I believe, however, still no signal. Didn't see who took that. Either way, both teams will head over to their sidelines. Oh, it's a 2-minute timeout. There we go. Just saw it up on the scoreboard. Neither team took it. As both teams will discuss things with their coach here. If you're Midway, I'm not sure how quickly you want to score here. And try to eat up a majority of this clock if I'm Coach Kern. Quincy back out on the field, now just awaiting the Eagles. And now Eagles huddled up right around the 15. Here they come up to the line. As Christian Carter back in the game, and that's a good decision as he will get into the end zone and Midway back on top. Actually on top for the first time tonight. Christian Carter takes it in from 6 yards out. And Lucas Wilder will come out to try to knock through the extra point. Wilder lines it up. And he misses it off to the left, so it'll remain a 13-7 game now with Minute 55 left here on this first half clock. And we'll see if Midway left too much time on the clock or not. This Quincy offense has not really been all that effective here tonight, thanks to the plethora of penalties that they've racked up, 9 of them here in this first half. As Wilder making his way back out there to kick this thing away. Last time had to kick it from the 20-yard line. This time gets to kick it from the normal 35. As Wilder with that right arm raised. And this is going to be a low line drive that hits the turf. Picked up right around the 14, working down the middle of the field, and good speed, but he's going to be stopped by Mike Anderson on the tackle. And Quincy will start their next drive here from the 39-yard line. In between the 38 and 39. They've got a minute 42 to try to attack things here. Still 3 timeouts up on the scoreboard for the Hawks, so those could become useful as this drive goes along. All the way, man in motion, takes the snap, and he will hand this one off to Jackson, who scampers out of bounds. Gain of about 5 on the carry. Couple of substitutions coming onto the field for Midway. One of them, Gavin Lay, came off the field. Now he's sending it back out. Now he's got to turn around and sprint back to the sideline. All the way, going to give it away again on the end around as they pick up the first down initially. But a flag does fly out near the end of that play, so we'll see what this is all about. Officials discussing things here. And they're looking back at Quincy, our head official is, so it looks like it's going to go against the Hawks, as it will indeed on the hold. So the first down will not stand as they'll back them up. I'll tell you what, decent half of football here for Quincy. Coach McLaughlin got to be losing his mind over there on that Hawks sideline. 10 first half penalties now. And they'll take it back to the 37-yard line, as that'll set up a 2nd and 12 now. All the way, looking to his left. Now we'll throw it down the middle of the field, and scary moments there as he had a man streaking down the middle of the field, but knocked away. Like Kamani Bush jumped up to try to intercept that one. He mistimed his jump and couldn't get a paw on it. Fortunately, he had some more help behind him, as that'll bring up 3rd and 12 now. Gonna get up to the 49-yard line for a fresh set of downs, as Allaway will throw again, but he is not gonna have time to throw, as getting into the backfield, dragging him down was the sophomore Trenton Leach, and that'll set up a long 4th down, and Quincy will punt it away. Leach got into the backfield very quickly that time. Deuce Allaway did not have much time to do anything as we're under a minute to play here in this first half. Clock continuing to run. Midway not opting to call the timeout. They do still have 2 of them. So we're down to 40 seconds now. Snap a little high, and the punt almost blocked, but he is able to get it off as it bounces down around the 40, and will be down to officially right around the 37-yard line. And that is where Midway will take over with 29 seconds left here in this first half of play. A briskly played first half of action here tonight. Let's see how aggressive they decide to be here. I think if you're Coach Kern, you're satisfied enough to take a 6-point lead to the halftime break. Will be Quincy football first coming out of the halftime. As back in the game now is Tanner Clark, as he will hand this one off to Quintel Thomas, who gets forward for a gain of about 3. And that'll keep the clock running, and it doesn't look like Midway will choose to run another play as we're down to 15 seconds. Tanner Clark throwing signs towards the Midway sideline. I think he wanted to run one more, but they're not going to let him, and that'll do it here for this first half of play. Midway 13, Quincy 7. Eagles with 13 unanswered points in the second quarter to climb on top here in this contest. We'll see if they can continue it on in the second quarter. That has really been their bugaboo all season long, so hopefully they're able to break that and perform well in the second half of play and potentially snag their first win of this season. We've got 20 minutes up on the halftime clock. We'll step aside for about 15, come back with about 5 left on the halftime clock, get you caught up on some first half statistics, scoring drives, all that, and so much more. Stick with us. We've got that upcoming and more right here from Midway University. And just over 3 minutes left here in our halftime break, as it is Midway 13, Quincy 7. For the fourth game this season, these Midway Eagles have a lead or tie at the halftime break. The second half so far this season have not been kind to them, so let's see what kind of plan they've got drawn up coming out of halftime. Justin Kalen back here with you at Midway University, and let's take a look at some of our first half statistics. It was a 7-0 lead for Quincy after 1 quarter of play. They got a 15-yard rushing touchdown from their quarterback Deuce Alloway. That was our score after 1. Midway, though, comes back with a vengeance in the second quarter of play. They got a 40-yard rushing touchdown from Quintel Thomas, who rushed for 146 yards a week ago. He's got 79 in the first half here tonight on 7 attempts. So he is more than halfway to that record. He could potentially set another one here tonight if he has a good second half of play as well. And the final touchdown in that first half for Midway came via their quarterback, Christian Carter, who didn't play a lot in that first half due to an injury he suffered in the first quarter. But he comes in and able to rush it in from 6 yards out. The extra point missed, however, as it was pulled off to the left. So we remain at 13-7 as we get set to begin this second half of play. Let's take a look at some of the team statistics. First downs, Quincy with 6 of them, Midway with 7. And it was, let's see, rushes. We've got 86 rushing yards for Quincy. Midway with 111 rushing yards. Quincy 101 passing yards. Midway with 76. 9 penalties in that first half for Quincy, 86 yards on those penalties. So that's something they were probably talking about at halftime if I'm Coach McLaughlin. At Midway, meanwhile, on their side of things, just 3 first half penalties for 31 yards. Midway got into the red zone 1 time. They scored 1 time. Quincy got into the red zone twice, only scoring once out of those 2 attempts. So a solid first half of play. Let's see if the Eagles can keep it up here into this second half and snag their first win of the season. I'm not going to bring up the numbers again, but the second halves for Midway this season have not been very kind to them. So let's see if we can buck that trend here tonight. They are able to win. Would match Quincy's record coming into this one, but it will be the Hawks getting the football first here in this second half of play. As Lucas Wilder with the ball on, or heading out to put the ball on the tee. Number of folks continuing to make their way back to the stands from the concessions. As Wilder counting off his steps. And there's toe to leather. Line drive along the ground, hauled in at the 30-yard line. And he'll take it up to the 40, and that is where Quincy will begin their first drive here of the second half. See if Midway's defense can continue to play very well. That unit in the first half did a lot of nice things. 2 turnovers by Quincy in that first half, by the way. Midway with just 1. Midway threw an interception on the second play of the game, which Quincy got the ball in good starting field position and made the Eagles pay for it with a touchdown on that drive. But since that moment, mistake-free by the Eagles, as the carry here right up the gut is going to amount to about a 3-yard carry. Well, I end up giving him 3 yards on the carry up to the 42-yard line as this drive started from the 39. Now a pass play here for Alloway, lands in no man's land as Mike Anderson maybe could have dove forward for that one. But it landed even short of him, so that brings up third down now, 3rd and 7 upcoming. Now Midway fans start to pick up the noise level once again as they're looking to get the football back here. And that's going to be a false start right on that left side of the line. Just flinched a little bit, and Quincy's going to pick up their 10th penalty of the game. And that makes it a tougher third down now, 3rd and 12. There's a couple of Eagle players down on the field, putting their hands in the air. They want to hear some noise. As Holloway going to be chased out of the backfield. That's Trenton Leach again running him down. Had a sack in that first half, and that pass is going to be incomplete. Good defense there by the sophomore Tyler Guyton from Baldwin, Mississippi. And Midway gets a stop on the first drive here of the second half. They send Chase Williams back to return the punt. He stands right at the 22-yard line. As Laughlin waits for the snap. Right into his mitts. And the punt is a boomer as it's hauled in at the 25 by Williams. He's got a little bit of room, makes a couple guys miss, and able to get up to the 40-yard line. So good starting field position now for Midway as they look to keep their foot on the gas pedal. By the way, for those curious, Kentucky Vanderbilt knotted up at 7. But it's Midway with a 13-7 lead here, and back in possession of the football, trying to add on to that. As it remains their backup quarterback in the game, Tanner Clark. We will interview head coach Kern after this game. I'll be interested to see why the decision to stick with Tanner Clark. Kind of filled in for a couple of possessions after Christian Carter, the starting quarterback, got a little banged up. And really put in some good minutes. And Christian Carter, we've seen very little of him since. As Clark now rolling out to his left, and he'll just throw that into the Quincy sideline. And pays for it at the end of that play as he takes a shot. So that'll set up third down now and 13. Damian Miller-Durson coming back out onto the field, the 6'2 sophomore from Indianapolis, Indiana. Clark eyeing downfield, finds his man. That's Chase Williams, who's going to turn on the Jets, down the sideline, up to the 30, now the 20, and Williams will go all the way to the house, 63 yards on the passing touchdown, and Midway now on top by 2 scores. How about that for an explosive play? Looked like Chase Williams was going to run out of room on that far sideline, but he's able to tiptoe and gets all the way into the end zone, and he gets a big chest bump over on that Midway sideline. As now Wilder will come out and try to knock through the extra point to make this a 20-7 game. The snap and hold are good, and Wilder's kick is going to be off to the left again. The one he missed in the first half shanked to the left. That one just barely off to the left as well. And it'll stay 19-7. But how about that? Only 8 points scored all season long for Midway in the second half, and an early 6 here in this one. Took them less than 2 minutes to go down and get that score. As out comes the kicking unit. Wilder sets the ball down on the tee. Now one of his teammates, Brady Bond, rather, comes over, says something to him. Right arm in the air, and the lefty boots it away. As it's going to be a short one, takes an awkward bounce, but Quincy is able to get it. And a good tackle there by Charles Adams. Looked like the return man that time for the Hawks was going to have some room, but Adams, the 5'7" junior, comes up to make the play. But Quincy does get up to the 40-yard line, so that's where they will start this drive. Deuce Holloway comes back out. Holloway, by the way, a 5'10" sophomore from Moments, Illinois. As he'll turn around, hands this one off to C.J. Jackson, and how about that for a defensive hit? Midway anticipating that one perfectly. Let's see who's on the bottom of that pile. Looks like Luke Guerrero, the first one to get the hit on him. However, Jamarian Taylor and Trenton Leach also in on that tackle. It's now one receiver to the far side, two to the near side here. As Holloway going to throw, and he's got it complete, but nothing doing there. As Jalen Beard comes up to make the stop. Jalen Beard has had a very good night defensively here for Midway. As that's going to bring up a 3rd and 8 now. Minimal gain on that reception. Now back up to the line comes Quincy. It's the Midway fans' noise level picking back up once more. Obvious pass play here by Holloway, and that's going to be incomplete. However, if it was complete, they were going to be well shy of the first down marker. He was looking for the junior B.J. Keith. Couple Eagles there for the stop if he had made the catch. Jalen Beard was one of them. Back out comes Laughlin to punt this thing away. Second time here in this second half already, as we haven't even played 4 minutes. Chase Williams back deep once again, as this one's going to get to him in a hurry, but he's just going to let it bounce, and that'll be down at the 26-yard line. And Midway's offense will come back out. Was a quick strike offense to begin this second half of play. And now see if they can match that effort, put some more points up on the board here. So from the 26, here they go at Tanner Clark. In the shotgun, has the snap now. He's going to hand this one off, and that is Thomas on the carry. Picks up about 4, maybe even closer to 5 yards on the carry that time. Quickly back up to the line now, faced with a 2nd and 6. Like closer to 5 as Clark takes the snap once again, gives it to Thomas, and he lowers that shoulder and is able to get past the first down marker. So 8th first down of the game for Midway. As we're down to 10 minutes left here in this 3rd quarter. A little bit of confusion whether he picked that first down up or not, but the far side official was about a foot beyond the first down sticks. As Clark waits in the shotgun. 3 receivers off to the left. He'll throw it that way. He's got Preston Moore, who gets up to about the 40-yard line, so give him a gain of 3 as one of the Quincy players down in the backfield, but he's up under his own power. And we'll limp over to the Quincy sideline. As that clock continuing to tick, this time Midway sends 2 receivers off to the left. Chase Williams looking for the play call. He's not sure what's going on. Now he gets it. Keegan Hill on the near side also had his arms up looking for the play call, but it both seems like they're settled in now. As Clark with the snap, looks to throw it to his right, looking for Keegan Hill, and that ball going to be over his head. Midway wanted a flag, but that ball couldn't have been caught either way. As that'll bring up 3rd down now, 3rd and 7. Just about 6 minutes through this 3rd quarter. Trying to take us back to the 1st quarter here. As Carter's chased out of the pocket, steps up into it, and gets up to about the 45-yard line, but he's going to be a couple yards shy of the sticks. And it looks like they're going to bring in the punting unit. And probably the right call by Coach Kern and the Eagles. However, that's a iffy call there. As Preston Moore back at the 30-yard line, set to kick this thing away. They needed one more guy out there, so he'll get out as Moore, the snap high. And the kick somewhat shallow, bounces at the 30 and takes a friendly Quincy bounce up to the 36-yard line, but we do have a flag on the play. All indications is this is going to be against Midway. As our head referee looking towards that Quincy sideline. And they're going to decline the penalty. Happy with the field position that they were given. By the way, Jim Little is our head referee here tonight. As here we go now from the 35-yard line, where they mark that football down. Deuce Holloway back out there at quarterback. Hand this one off. And once again, the defensive wall for Midway standing tall. I'll tell you what, they have played very well against the run here tonight. It's been pretty much the same cast of characters in on virtually every tackle tonight. Luke Guerrero, Jamarian Taylor, Trenton Leach. All three of those guys have been fantastic. All the way looking deep. He's got a man down there, and that is going to be hauled in inside the 20-yard line. Ball but does pop out at the end of the play, but they're going to rule he was down anyways. And Quincy with the first down, and they are back inside the red zone for the third time tonight. As now ball at the 19-yard line. All the way, two receivers to each side, takes the snap, fakes the throw, and hands it off right up the middle. And once more, Luke Guerrero coming up to make the stop. Give him 2 yards on that carry, so that'll set up a 2nd and 8 now. As Trenton Leach makes his way off the field. Lucas Wilder coming out. Got 2 Lucas Wilders on this Midway roster. And that ball's loose and goes back to pick it up, but he is going to lose a ton of yardage here. As getting back there is Jalen Beard to drag him down right around the 35-yard line. They're actually marking down at the 31. But that sets up third and at least a mile. Maybe a mile and a half. As that clock continuing to run here. All the way, awaits the snap. He's got it now, obvious passing situation. Fires it over the middle, and it's picked off, but there is a flag come out. Likely going to be defensive pass interference. As we'll see what this is all about. Looked like the receiver just got tripped up, but all indications is this is going to go against Midway. This will be a big call either way. It is indeed pass interference against the Eagles. Adrian Doré, the 6'2 freshman defensive end, coming onto the field. And let's see where they take this football down to. It is a spot foul for pass interference, but they rule that happened at the 15. Seems like a break for the Eagles. The contact was inside the 10, so they'll take it here at the 15, but it will be an automatic first down for Quincy. As Holloway's got it. He'll hand it off. Room there to operate inside the 10, diving forward inside the 5. And that's going to give him a 1st and goal now inside the 5-yard line. Like Chance Newton, the grad student, running that one down the left side. And Quincy's in business here. They trail 19-7 as we've got 4.5 minutes left in this third quarter. All the way, going to hand this one off to Jackson, who's stopped for a loss. Dropped about 2 yards on the carry that time. Brings up second and goal now from the 7. Clock now under 4 minutes. Holloway looking to his left, and that is going to be incomplete. Good defense that time by Josiah Sander, knocking that one free. 5'9" junior from Falcon, Colorado. As that'll bring up third down now. Third and goal from the 7. Now let's see what Quincy draws up here. Midway defensively tonight, very stout. See if they can continue that right here as Holloway looking to his left now, throws it over the middle and throws it behind his receiver. And that'll bring up 4th and goal now from the 7. Like that was Tyler Guyton manning up the wide receiver. And it looks like Quincy going to keep the offense out there. Interesting call here. I thought they might just take the points with the field goal, but alas, they're going to go for it. 4th and goal from the 7. Holloway going to pitch this one, and it's dropped on the ground, and he is going to be well short of that pylon. That was C.J. Jackson on the carry, and the Midway defenders ready for it again. And that's another turnover on downs, and the Eagles will take back over with 3:27 left here in quarter number 3. Leading 19-7. It's been a fantastic performance tonight for them thus far, as we have got just less than 3.5 minutes here in this quarter. Back on the 5-yard line, waiting for the call. Now they approach the line. Keegan Hill, the wide receiver on the near side. Preston Moore on the far side. As Carter takes the snap, he'll roll to his left. Now tries to cut back to the middle of the field. And able to get back to the line of scrimmage, but not a whole lot more of that than that. Charles Adams running off the field. Damian Miller-Durson coming back on. Clock now under 3 to play in quarter number 3. Pitch forward here for Williams. And Chase stays on his feet, now tries to cut it back inside. And they are going to jump on his back right around the, looks like 17-yard line. That'll bring up a manageable third down now. 3rd and about 2. Maybe closer to 3. Now up to the line they come. There's Tanner Clark giving some instructions to Keegan Hill, who's in the wide receiver on the near side. Instead, he'll turn around, flips it to Quintel Thomas, who's got some room, and he is able to pick up the first down with ease. And Midway will keep the drive alive with their 9th first down of the contest. Ball now at the 28-yard line. We've got less than 90 seconds left here in this third quarter. Clark waiting. Miller Durson in motion. It's going to be a handoff to Thomas out of the backfield. And one of the rare times that he's not able to pick up positive yardage is he's going to drop about 3 yards on the carry that time. Down under 40 seconds left to play here in the in the third quarter. Once again, trying to move us backwards as Clark trudges forward for a gain of about 1, maybe closer to 2. As that potentially the final play of the third quarter. Midway does not have to snap it if they don't want to, and it doesn't look like they will, as we are under 10 seconds left in the quarter, and they are headed over the sideline. So Midway with a 12-point lead after 3, 19-7. They're on top. Stick around with us, see if they can close it out and get their first win of the season. We'll find that out and more when we return. Stick with us. We've got more Midwest Sprint Football League action coming up here from Midway. A little Sweet Caroline between the quarter break here from Midway University, and it's been a sweet performance tonight for the Eagles as they lead 19-7 up on our scoreboard as we begin this fourth and final frame. They will start in possession of the football, however, 3rd and 11 upcoming here for their offense. As Tanner Clark looking to throw this one, he's got Keegan Hill wide open and had a defender on his back, but Keegan Hill was in the better position there to come down with that football. And it falls harmlessly to the turf, and Preston Moore will have to boot this thing away for the Eagles. Midway leading 6-0 here in this second half. Haven't been able to say that too often this season. Second halves have really been their bugaboo. As Moore now set to kick it away. And it's a high one, but not all that deep, but it does take a Midway bounce inside the 50 up to the 45. And that is where Quincy will begin their next drive. With 14:44 to play in this game. Midway looking for their first win of the season. 0-3 coming into this one tonight. Would also keep Quincy at just 1 win on the season. Quincy will get their bye in the last week of the week 7 of the regular season. As Allaway going to hand this one off to Jackson, and nothing doing for him there again. And I tell you what, very impressed by this Midway rush defense so far tonight. Led by Luke Guerrero. Marion Taylor in as well on the tackle once more, and Trenton Leach, the same 3 guys that it has seemingly been all night long. Gavin Lay and Peyton Brazier, a couple names we typically are saying on these broadcasts. They've been quiet compared to those three. And how about this tackle by Luke Guerrero again? As this time it's made in the backfield, and that'll be a loss for Quincy. As third down coming up, 3rd and 9 now. Speed of Guerrero there from his linebacker position, very impressive. Read that play well, as now the Midway contingency of fans will start to pick up the noise once again. Looking for another defensive stop as Holloway has the football. He'll throw it over the middle, and nobody anywhere close to that football. And that should be another punting situation here. One of the Quincy receivers just looking around like, who is that supposed to be to? Maybe Nasir Carson was the intended target, but even him, he was 7-8 yards away from that football. As Laughlin set to kick this thing away with 13:15 left in the game. And it's a short one, goes off the side of his cleat and out of bounds right around the 35-yard line. So decent starting field position here for Midway to try to add on to their 12-point lead. 19-7, they're on top. And the official comes out and points the direction Midway's going. Not sure what that's all about, as here we go now. Tanner Clark back out there in at quarterback. And he'll get it off to Chase Williams, who breaks one tackle but then immediately swallowed up by another. But he is able to pick up about 5 yards on the reception that time. Quintel Thomas, the running back in the backfield, off to the right of Tanner Clark. As Clark's got it now, looking to throw to his left. He's got Preston Moore out there, but Moore couldn't catch up to that football, but a flag did fly in near the end of that play, and Moore signaling that he was held. Let's see if the officials saw that same thing. Looks like one official signaling for a hold. As now here comes Jim Little, our head official. And that will be against Quincy, but Midway also with a penalty, so those will offset and we'll replay the down. So back to 2nd and 4 from the 41-yard line. Holding was the call against Quincy. That's Chase Williams in motion from right to left. Clark will hand this one off to Quintel Thomas, and they swallow him up immediately as he gets that football. So that'll bring up 3rd down now. 3rd and looking at 5 yards to go here. "12 minutes left here in this game. As 3rd and 4 now. As Clark will have to scamper as he was chased out of the backfield, and Nothing opening up for him there as he will lose a significant amount of yards and will bring up 4th down, and Preston Moore will punt it away. By the way, Preston Moore in that first half with 4 punts for a total of 135 yards, so he's been active here tonight. Clock still running, down towards 11 minutes left in this one. The snap back to Moore, good. This punt much better as it bounces down at the 25. Now it'll be downed at the 24, and we do have a flag fly out on the Midway sideline. And I think they're going to get the sideline for the penalty here. Typically you'll get a warning. To my knowledge, they have not been warned yet. We're just going to penalize them. Well, I guess that was their warning because they didn't move the football, so. All the way. 2 receivers to each side as he'll hand this one off for Jackson, working to the left. And he's going to get close to that first down marker. I guess he got out of bounds as the clock stopped. Looks like they gave him the first down on that carry. So the 1st and 10 here is going to bust right up the middle and down to near the 50-yard line. So back-to-back first downs for Quincy as they try to claw their way back into this game. 19-7 up on our scoreboard. Byron Wallace a little banged up, comes over to the Midway sideline. I stand corrected, that's Tyler Guyton. As this time Holloway going to throw to the left. And able to pick up about 6 yards on the reception that time. Gets out of bounds, so it stops the clock with 9:52 left in the game. Now the clock will start again. Ball sitting at the 44-yard line. All the way, quick throw off to the left, another completion here, and that's going to be enough for the first down. So Quincy doing a nice job moving the football here. Midway defense has been out on the field for a lengthy amount of time here tonight. But so far have done a nice job. By the way, possession time in that first half, very, very close. As Quincy ended up holding it for 15:46 compared to Midway's 14-14, as we're going to get a timeout taken here with 9 minutes, 11 seconds left in this game. Midway 19. Quincy 7. Majority of the crowd still here at Midway as the Eagles looking for their first win and their first season playing here on this new turf field. Reminder, we will catch up with Coach Kern at the conclusion of this game. Should be a much better interview than 2 weeks ago after Bellarmine scored 34 unanswered, which culminated in a 49-15 win. It's been a much better performance tonight for the Eagles. As 1st and 10 upcoming now. Inside the 40-yard line, ball sits right at the 34. As Holloway going to take this, hands it off to Jackson. Jackson uses his speed again, and he's going to be beyond the first down marker once more. 13 first downs in this game now for Quincy. Under 9 to play here in this ball game. Ball up to the 22. Holloway's got it. Quick throw to the left, and in no man's land goes that football. Really fortunate that thing wasn't picked off. There were a couple Eagles over there that could have potentially made a play on it. Byron Wallace being one of them. Now down to 8:34. Another quick throw to the left, this time complete. And that's going to be very close to another first down. Looks like from our angle just a smidge short. We'll see where they mark this thing down. And it'll be about a yard shy of that first down marker, so 3rd and 1 upcoming. And the Eagles could really use another defensive stop here. As here we go on 3rd and 1. Holloway will throw it again into the back of the end zone and had a man slanting across the field but couldn't connect with him. And that'll bring up 4th and 1. And this feels like a massive play in this game if Midway wants to secure that first win of the season. And Holloway, I thought maybe he would drop under center. Instead, going to stay in the shotgun. As he's going to hand this one off, and he will get into the end zone, I believe. Just waiting for the signal. Oh, they're going to roll him out. Or did they say he scored? A never signaled touchdown, but it's a 13-yard touchdown rush by C.J. Jackson. And Quincy back within striking distance here. As Laughlin set to kick through the extra point. It is up and right through the uprights it goes. So 19-14 now our score. With 7:55 left here in this contest, we've got a barn burner. Stay with us, folks. We'll step aside for a quick breather here, come back, and we'll see what Midway can do with their next offensive possession here from Midway University. And back here, Midway University for your Midwest Sprint Football League action here tonight. As Midway on top 19-14. But Quincy with a big touchdown there to inch closer after it was just a 19-7 game, as now Chase Williams trying the return here. Gets it up to the 40-yard line. However, a couple flags do fly out. We've got 7:45 left here in this game. Midway looking for that first win of the season. And they have definitely played well enough tonight to get it. But they're going to have to back up a little here after they're called for a chop block. 5th penalty of the night for Midway. That'll be a 15-yard penalty, and they'll move the football back to the 25-yard line. So much for the good return by Chase Williams. As Tanner Clark gonna flip this one off for Quintel Thomas, who loses the football. Looks like Quincy jumped on top of it, and they did. And they will have this inside the 40-yard line. Quintel Thomas not happy with himself as he heads to the Midway sideline. He's got those hands on his helmet. One of the coaches trying to talk to him down there. Keep his head in the game. So the Hawks back in possession as C.J. Jackson gets the carry. And he's going to be swallowed up after a 4-yard gain. Like Luke Guerrero once more in on the tackle. So it brings up 2nd and 6 here now for the Quincy offense as we are just over 7 minutes left here in this one. The Midway fans continue to be loud down below us as Jackson going to get another carry, and this time drugged to the ground. Nice job there by Brazier not letting him go. Shoestring tackle, if you will, but had to keep a hold of that shoestring. As that'll bring up 3rd down now, 3rd and 6. All the way. Quick throw off to his right, and good defense there. As that was Mike Anderson, who's been all over the field defensively tonight. Tell you what, a number of really, really good defensive performances by the Eagles. And Quincy going to keep the offense on the field, so 4th and 6 upcoming. And the Eagles could use a big stop here. We'll see if they're able to get it. 2 receivers to each side. All the way. Sends Jackson out of the backfield. Now he'll roll out, and he will just throw it away. And Midway does indeed get the stop after the turnover. However, there is an Eagle player remaining down on the field, as they'll jog out to check on him over on that Quincy sideline. But a massive play there as they force Deuce Holloway to throw the ball out of bounds on 4th and 6. So Midway will take back over the ball at the 28-yard line as they deal with the injured player right around the 40-yard line. Couldn't quite tell who that was before he went down. So all the Eagles over on their sideline drop to a knee. Majority of the Quincy players on the far sideline have now done the same, and that's Jalen Beard. 2nd time tonight he's been dinged up. Came back in last time. Now he's walking over to the sideline. Seems like he's just fine. So good to see. Down to 6:14 left in this game. 1st and 10 now for the Midway offense. From the 28-yard line, Quintel Thomas, after the fumble on the last possession, they're going to go right back to him here, and it turns out to be a wise decision as he picks up 8 on 1st and 10. By the way, both teams with 3 timeouts up on the scoreboard. Sure that'll play a factor here in a few minutes. As Clark taking his time, trying to melt some of this game clock away. That's just smart there as Clark now gets the defense to jump off sides. And that's going to be a fresh set of downs for Midway for the 10th time tonight. 11th time that Quincy has been penalized. And that was just Tanner Clark making a couple hard cadence calls. Fell forward on the second one. They bring the football up to the 42-yard line. Clock continues to run now down towards 5 minutes left. Chase Williams in motion from right to left. Clark's got the football, hands it off to Quintel Thomas. Trudges forward up to the 45, gets a push from behind, and once again, like we've seen so many times tonight, keeps those legs churning, gets a push from behind and gets it up to the 48-yard line. So what looked like a 2, maybe 3-yard carry ends up going for 6, maybe even 7. That's going to bring up a 2nd and 4 as they officially give him 6 on the carry. The Eagles could punch one in here, it would be very difficult for Quincy to come back in this game. As Clark once again with a man in motion. Instead, he's just going to hand it to Thomas, who no room working for him there. As he'll lose a yard, rather. As that'll bring up a timeout. Looks like Quincy going to take this one, as that is their first timeout. And they'll use it with 4:01 remaining in this game. Coming out of the timeout, it'll be 3rd and 4 for Midway. Feels like a big play in the game if they're able to convert. They'll be even closer to being able to salt away a majority of the clock. Both teams now making their way back out onto the field. 4 minutes, 1 second left here in this game. Been a thrilling game so far tonight. Excellent performance by the Eagles. As Clark rolling, looking to throw, and he's got Chase Williams on the sideline. Just a half yard past the first down marker, and that's how you draw it up. As that is a huge first down there by Midway. As they're back into Quincy territory, there is a Hawk player down over on their sidelines, or close to their sidelines. Just roll him a couple times, get him off the field. Killing the Midway momentum. As now he gets up to his feet, walking off without help, so good to see there. And now ball at the 48 for Midway in Quincy territory. Imagine we'll see a heavy dose of Quintel Thomas here. And if he's able to get a first down or two, it might require two. And Midway should win this ball game. As Clark continuing to let the clock run down, as he won't have to take a snap until about 3:15 left on the game clock. As there's still 10 left on the play clock. Now down to 5 as Clark takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Thomas and throws it. Has it complete to Chase Williams again. And Williams gets it up to the 41-yard line. As that'll make it 2nd and 3, maybe closer to 2nd and 4 here. And I wonder at what point Quincy utilizes those last 2 timeouts that they've got. As now he's going to be taken down in the backfield. They got to him in a hurry there, as that's going to knock him back and sets up a long 3rd down. And we were wondering when Quincy would start using those timeouts. It looks like the first one they're going to use now, as they are down to 1 remaining with 2:27 left in this ball game. And a long 3rd down upcoming for Midway when the teams get back out there. 3rd and 10 up on the scoreboard. By the way, hang around after the game. We'll get you caught up on the final statistics, as well as catch up with Coach Kern, who, regardless of the final result here tonight, has got to be very happy with the way his team performed. As teams making their way back out there. 3rd and 10 coming right up. Big play for the Eagles. As Tanner Clark from shotgun, he's got it. Rolling to his left. Now he throws it towards the sideline. Had Preston Moore over there, but just over the head of his 6'3" wide receiver. And that'll bring up 4th and 10. And Midway will punt it away. And now some nervy moments here, as Quincy will get the football back with just over 2 minutes remaining, trailing by 5. The one savior, however, is they've only got 1 timeout, so they've got to play smart if they want to go down and get the game winner. As Preston Moore now takes the snap, perfect, right in his paws, as he kicks this one to the left, and that's going to go out of bounds. Should be right around the 30. We'll see where they end up marking this thing down. Oh, wow. They're going to say at the 26-yard line. So, 2nd call here in this 2nd half that seems like it's went Midway's way. So they end up marking it down at the 27. So I guess at the end of the day, 3 yards isn't that big of a deal. And we'll see how the Hawks navigate things here. 2 receivers to each side. Holloway, we're going to see a lot of his arm here as he throws it down the middle of the field, and that is going to be caught at the 50. Well, now their ball did pop loose, but they're going to say he made the – oh, no, they're going to say incomplete. Wow. Official came in. He was adamant that that ball hit the ground. I thought he was ruling that it popped loose after he was down, but that's the better result there, as that's going to bring up 2nd and 10. 2:04 left now. As the officials discussing something. Oh, and it's an unsportsmanlike conduct against Quincy. So talk about a mistake they could not make in that spot. They're going to back up 15 yards. And that'll set up a 1st and 25. Instead of a 2nd and 10. So they bring it all the way back to the 13-yard line. Now Holloway's got the snap and fires a floater down the field, and oh, it hits him right in the chest. Josiah Sander could have came down with that one, but was tracking it down awkwardly and couldn't quite reel it in, so that'll bring up 2nd down now. But first, each team will head, or they should head, to the sideline as we've hit the 2-minute mark remaining in the game, and they will indeed go to their sideline. So we'll step aside for a break as well. Catch my breath for this final 2 minutes, as it is a 19-14 lead for Midway. See if they can hang on when we come back here for Midway University. Midway making their way back out there. Now Quincy quickly follows. 1:58 left here in this one. 19-14. Midway with the lead. And Quincy with a long 3rd down upcoming. 3rd and 23. Midway's defense has been fantastic tonight and looking for just one more stop defensively. They're able to get it, they'll pick up win number 1 on the season, and the first win for Coach Kern here at Midway. As the pass is short, and he'll scamper out of bounds around the 25. So we'll make the 4th down more manageable now as they're faced with a 4th and 12. And the clock stops, and now a couple Midway players down there on the sidelines asking their crowd to get loud. Now one of the coaches down there adamantly asking the crowd to stand up. They know how big this play is here. Quincy's got to get 12 on this play. If they do not, Midway will win the ball game. Holloway looking down the field. He's got his man well short of 1st down marker, and the Eagles make the stop, and they're going to win this ball game. So leave it up to the defense like they've been all night long, standing tall, and they come up with a big stop there. And for all intents and purposes, this game should be over as Quincy's got one timeout left. A minute 45 left on the clock. So Midway will have to, in all likelihood, get one first down. And I guess not, as they're going to come out in victory formation. As they'll drop to an E. And with a minute 42 left, we're going to get a stoppage in play. And Quincy has called their final timeout of the game at a minute 42 left. As Midway does lose a yard on the play, which you can expect that when dropping to a knee in victory formation. So both teams back over to their sideline for probably the final time here tonight. Reminder again, we'll talk with Coach Kern in our post game. Really excited to hear his perspective on things here tonight. Coming off of the bye week, you know he's got to be proud of his squad. Boy, they have battled throughout the entirety of this game. Back out they come, Tanner Clark. Takes the snap, and he'll drop to an E. And now that play clock starts, so the next snap won't take place until there's under a minute left in the game. Down to 20 on the play clock now, a minute 15 on the game clock. Down to 5 on the play clock now. Under a minute to play. They take the snap and drop to a knee once again. So that'll bring up fourth down. And there's about a 12-second differential between the play clock and game clock. So interested to see what Midway does here. It is fourth down, 4th and 13. We'll just see if they run around in the backfield or what they end up doing here. We're down to 15 seconds on the game clock. And as the clock hits 0, or right before, Midway going to call a timeout with 12 seconds left in this ball game. They will have to run one more play, and you've got to be careful with that one more play. I think you put Preston Moore back deep and just let him punt this thing as high as he can. The clock will start running as soon as he touches it. Kick it high and short. Doesn't even matter if it goes 5 yards. As long as it hangs in the air long enough for the rest of that time to melt off the clock. Last thing you want to do is give Quincy one more offensive play. That's when things can get a little wonky, as Preston Moore will indeed punt the ball away. And they are bringing the house at him. Nobody even back to receive this punt. As the snap is good and the kick is way up there as it bounces down around the 20, and it'll be downed with 3 seconds left. I don't know why he grabbed that ball. You could have just continued, let it bouncing around, and likely the rest of the time comes off the clock, so it will be one more play for Quincy here. And this is where you throw in the ultimate prevent defense. As Keegan Hill is going to be the furthest one back around the 45-yard line. Now he's joined back there by Josiah Sander. Midway with 4 defenders on the other side of the 50 as Holloway chased out of the pocket, and he'll throw one down the middle of the field, and that's going to be incomplete. And the Eagles have won their first game of the season with a big-time victory over Quincy. 19-14 is the final score, and the Eagles going crazy down on the field. I don't blame them, as it has been a tough go to start this season. But they come through tonight, play a very well-rounded game. Offense was clicking. The defense was outstanding here in this one, and they get win number 1 on the season, as they are now 1-3 on the year, 1-3 in Midwest Sprint Football League play as well. Quincy will drop to 1-4 on the year, and they are now 1-4 in Midwest Sprint Football League play, as both teams meet at midfield for the post-game handshakes. And what a performance tonight for the Midway Eagles, and we will break it all down on the other side for you. I'll try to get the final statistics from this game. We'll also catch up with Coach Kern, and really excited to talk to him and get his perspective from this game. He has got to be grinning from ear to ear with his team and the performance that they put on here tonight. So stick around for all that. We've got it coming up next for you. We'll be back in a couple of minutes as we add up some final totals and bring you your post-game show here tonight. Stick around. We've got more coming up here from Midway University. And back here, Midway University, Midwest Sprint Football League action here tonight, as the Eagles of Midway have gotten their first win of the season with a 19-14 win tonight over the Hawks of Quincy, and it was a complete performance by the Eagles all night long. They broke the statistic in which they have a lead or tied at halftime, and they have been outscored 82-8 in second halves this season, but they turned that around here. And this one, they do get outscored in this second half, but just by 1, as it was a 7-6 score for Quincy in the second half of action, as the celebration is on the field, the brand new turf field here at Midway, the first win on the turf field here at Midway for these Eagles. And an impressive effort tonight. Defensively was fantastic. Offensively, could have been a little bit better, but they did just enough to get the win. A lot of big plays here in this game, and they had to do it with their backup quarterback as their starter, Christian Carter, hurt in the first quarter. He was fine, ended up coming back into the game briefly for a few plays, but it was mostly their backup, Tanner Clark, who got it done from the quarterback position. He played outstanding in this game, made some really crisp throws, and had some really nice performances as this game went along. Let's take a look at some of our final statistics. Let's start first with the scoring, as it was a 7-0 Quincy lead after 1 quarter of play, as they got a 15-yard rushing touchdown from their quarterback, Deuce Alloway. Midway came right back in the second quarter, however, after trailing 7-0 after 1. They got it back to even at 7-7 thanks to Quintel Thomas, a 40-yard rushing touchdown. He has had back-to-back very good games this season. That tied it up at 7. Midway would then get another touchdown prior to the halftime break, as it was a 6-yard rushing touchdown by their starting quarterback, Christian Carter, when he briefly came back into the game. However, the extra point was missed by Wilder, so that remained a 13-7 game. That was our score at halftime. Midway then comes out of the second half of action. They force a quick 3-and-out by the Quincy offense and then get the football right back, and it culminated in a quick touchdown, a minute 59 in to the second half of play, as it was a 63-yard strike from Tanner Clark into the arms of Chase Williams, who tiptoed right down the left sideline. And the extra point on that attempt was also no good again, so that made it a 19-7 score at that point. And then Quincy would kind of punch back a little bit. They made this thing interesting in the end, as it was a 13-yard rushing touchdown by their running back, C.J. Jackson. That made it a 19-14 game. They did have the ball 2 more times with a chance to jump on top, but could not take advantage of those situations. And Midway wins this thing 19-14, the final score, as we await head coach Kern to come up and talk with us about that exciting win. What a win it was for Midway here tonight. As let's take a look at some of our other statistics. As let's start with first downs here. Quincy ended up with 14 of them. Midway with 12 first down. Midway rushed the football for 152 yards. Quincy had 127 yards rushing, 207 passing yards for Quincy, 156 for Midway. Midway got into the red zone 1 time and ended up scoring on that drive as well. Quincy, this was really the difference in the game, as Coach Kern up here now. 6 chances inside the red zone, only 2 scores for Quincy in this game. And Coach, what a performance by your squad tonight. I've got to ask, first of all, congratulations on your first win here at Midway, but I want to know your immediate reaction. How are you feeling right now? That was a fun ball game.
It really was a fun ball game. The young men, they played tough, and it's all credit to them. And, we worked hard, and they deserved it. They deserved this victory tonight. They persevered. They didn't give up in the second half like we've been doing all year. So they persevered through the adversities.
Yeah, and when it culminates in your first win and the team's first win of the season. Coach, it was really, I was talking about those red zone statistics. 6 chances in the red zone for Quincy tonight, only 2 scores coming out of that. Your defensive effort tonight by your team was outstanding, specifically the rush defense. I was very impressed with your unit tonight.
Well, we were kind of worried about our defensive side of the ball because, with our academic policy that put a bind this week on a lot of things. But the guys stepped up who replaced the starters, stepped up, and they did an amazing job, We're gonna celebrate this one, but we're going to get ready for next week after tonight's over.
Yeah, it's another tough one coming up for you all next week, as you are at Calumet. They are 3-0 on the season. Haven't seen an update how they did here tonight, but it's going to be a tough one. I want to ask you a little bit about the quarterback situation tonight. You had Christian Carter go down early with an injury. came over to the sideline, appeared like he was all right. We did see him in the game a couple more times after that. But what was with the decision to stick with the backup quarterback in that situation? He was playing very well. Tanner Clark, was it because he came in those 2 possessions and was really getting the offense moving down the field, or what went into the decision-making there?
Well, the decision-making, I don't know what happened with Christian. I got to find out the injury report on that. But, we have confidence in our young quarterbacks. Both of them are freshmen. They both add different elements to the game.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, if Christian was hurt, injured, dinged up, or whatever the case might have been, we just like for him to get healthy for next week. These next 2 weeks are going to be critical on turning the season around. We can either finish, 3-3, make that. Hopefully, we make that 4th game, the 7th game, and try to ride out the season with Christian really right now. But again, not taking anything away from Tanner. Tanner stepped up in that adverse situation for Christian, and I think he did an excellent job until that last play when he wanted to run that RPO, and I really snapped on him. But again, that comes with experience. So.
Yeah. Well, I think it was all around a great performance by your team. Seemed like there was a lot of next man up situations tonight, and it seemed like in every situation you all persevered. And hats off to you again on that first career win here at Midway, and also keep up the great defense. That was a lot of fun to watch tonight, Coach. There was 5 or 6 names that I consistently said, whether it was Luke Guerrero, whether it was, there was a number of names that I said tonight. Trenton Leach was very good. I thought Jalen Beard played very well as well. So congrats on your first win. That was an awesome performance, and looking forward to seeing more wins here as we go down the stretch here this season.
Well, thank you. I hope this will be a start to something good.
Absolutely. Well, we'll find out, Coach, and we're going to go ahead and get out of here from Midway tonight. Congratulations again to Coach Kern and the Midway Eagles getting it done for that first win of the season. As your final score, one final time, 19-14, the final score. This is Justin Kalen saying so long and good night. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks when Midway is back here to take on Walsh before the Midwest Sprint Football League playoffs. That's going to wrap it up here from Midway. Have a good night and enjoy the rest of your weekend.